Greetings friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Dale Puckett here, and in this video I'm going to be asking for your help. I need ideas or a good idea on what to do to fix this guy here. This one here is actually not a cigar box. I found this box at, believe it or not, of all places, Barnes and Noble. It's just a box. And there's no back on it. I had to create the back, but it's just a box that they set up on their display thing. And I forget what the little thing is. There was a word there that I took out. Believe in the something of Christmas. I think it was joy or something. But I left that part out there so it would believe in the music of Christmas. So it's actually a pretty box. It's got glitter. I don't know if you can see. You can probably see it up here, the glitter. And it came that way. And as far as all this rusticness, the box came that way. All that to say, I mean, it was a lot of fun building this thing. This is one of my very first, number 28. And I went back a couple of times and I did the corners on it. Like I said, I had to build the back. I spray painted it gold to match. The inlays are just drilled holes and then sharpied with red. And then I got a little linoleum nail in there for the gold, for the bling bling. I also got gold linoleum nails here on the top as well for the position markers. This is actually a really narrow neck. Normally I make my necks about this wide, but back in the day I used to make them thinner. I don't know why. There's hardly any curvature to this neck at all. It's very square-ish. You can tell right here. There's like a tiny little, maybe 1/8 of a round of a router, if that. So it's a very square feeling here. This is oak, by the way, an oak neck. And there's no heel. Look at that, just one piece through the body. In the back here, it's really jicky here. Here's where the strings go in, and they're not even in a straight line. And then they go at an angle. There's holes that are drilled up at an angle, and they come out the top here. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was just trying to use this piece maybe. I'm not really sure. The bridge here is so low that there's no action underneath here. That's tiny. And in fact, this is a reverse of a back angle. This is like a forward angle. It's actually the strings are higher here than they are here. I don't know if you can see that. It actually goes back reverse, you know, instead of being this way, it's this way. It's kind of dumb. I'm almost kind of embarrassed. I think that's because the neck actually came up. That's what happened here. That would be my guess anyway, because of this gap here. You can kind of tell it the neck kind of popped up when it got under tension. All that to say, whenever you plug this thing in, it is so quiet. I mean, the volume level is almost non-existent. And so for me, you know, rather than just have it as a piece of wall art, I would really like to restore this thing, or just kind of bring it up into the current playability specs, so to speak. What I would like to do is maybe put a heel on here, obviously carve the neck, file a fret, or dress the fret ends because they're just squared off. But more importantly, and unfortunately, this is where I need your help. In my brilliance, I actually glued the top, this piece here, to the fret, to the wood here. There's no screws on the back holding it. Okay, so how this guy got attached is by gluing it to the top. I don't recommend that. Oh my gosh, duh. What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking, because there's no way that you can take it apart. It's become, the neck wood that goes through the body has become one with the top here. In fact, there's no gap between the top and the fretboard. It's just glued right to it. So, wah, 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 wah. So what I'm gonna do is take this thing apart and try to separate the top from the neck. And that's how I'm really not sure how I'm gonna do it. So let's take this thing apart here. You guys can take a look at it with me, and together we will figure out how to restore this bad boy just in time for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So I can play some First things first, let's take this thing apart. Yeah, another thing that's goofy on this one here is this one here does the middle string. This one back here does the top string, so it's kind of backwards. You gotta pay attention whenever you screw up like that. Made sure to get my reading glasses today. So now we're going to take apart the bottom off. Like I said, these corners here, they're not holding anything on, they're just for show. So we're going to take these things off. I spy a fret template, a sanding stick, a Sasquatch, a bag of chips, a bottle of glue, a Johnny Cash t-shirt, some gold corners, and a white pencil. So we got all the gold corners off. Now I just need to take off 1, 2, 3, 4 screws to open up the back. And I use these tiny little tuner screws, itty bitty dudes. Yeah, I remember one time trying to do a gig with this thing, and the volume was so low, the amp was cranked, everything was full blast, and you could still barely hear it. It was like so frustrating. I was like, oh man. So I never really used it for gigs after that, because it was always just a pretty guitar to have kind of laying around for a prop during Christmas time. But to be honest with you, I'd much rather not be a prop and actually be a real cigar box guitar, non-cigar box guitar. Yeah, so the piezo is glued on here. And the jack is wired up here to the switch, or to the volume control. So everything's good. I mean, it's got this kind of an ugly splice going on here, but it's captured in hot glue, so it's not going to short anything out. Anyhow, yeah, so I don't know, you can't see it here, but along these seams right here and right here, see if you can see it on this side here. Yeah, you can kind of see it underneath these wires. If you look close enough, let me move this thing into the light so maybe you can see it. You can see the glue spilling out in between the edges of the box and the wood. So what I gotta do, I guess, is take off the wires and get some sort of saw and then cut it off. That's what I would do. Try my best to, if I'm going to destroy anything, I'm going to destroy the neck, because I am going to do a back angle here, and so I have budget there on the top of that to actually cut it off. So it actually might work out pretty good. I even got these wire holder tapey things on here. So there's some pluses and minuses. Look how thick these walls are. Rustic edges and thick walls. All right, so I'm not going to proceed any further until I hear back from you guys on a good method to remove that. Ugh, kind of a bummer. I did take some time today to kind of organize. Let me show you around here. So, oh yeah, we got a fire raging in here, and I'm trying to boil water. This thing here is full of, not full, it was full, but this thing has been on here all day and it has not come to a boil. So I knocked the level down to about less than half, and no boil. Wah. Anyhow, I started to create a wall of fame here. So I got it trimmed with this rustic rough cut lumber, both the bottom floor trim and the side trim around the doors. Yeah, so I can start displaying these things, and got the Merc up there. Oh yeah, my number one, very first cigar box guitar ever. One of these days I'm going to do a video and I'm going to show you all these little eclectic, little weird psycho instruments. But in this video here, I was more concerned about getting everybody's input on how together we can redeem this bad boy so they can sing again. All right, guys, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. But more importantly, I'm after your feedback. All right, guys, cheers. See you in the next video.